Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series in officially licensed cars engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
After round 9 at Atlanta, some drivers questioned if their chance of a championship title was over. For other drivers, it was about changing a season that took the wrong turn early. Grant Clark was able to erase his past and find victory lane for the first time this season. His teammate Patrick Day was able to help lead that charge for that win. Now just 3 races stand between Nick Galusha and the Tarmac Truck Series Championship. Can Trevor Catalano catch Galusha? He has gained ground, and momentum seems to be on his side. Welcome into Studio 8. I am your host, Ryan Griffith. I have alongside me Patrick Day and Chris Miller. How are we doing today?
Oh, I'm doing great after a great run last Wednesday at Atlanta. Fun pushing Grant to the end there. Tried to get around him for my own first win there, but he had the momentum on him. So, no, that was fun. Cruising around the back all race, just taking our time and hitting the cautions right there at the end really helped us. So it was cool on that last green white checker having all 3 of the Canis racing teammates there in the top 6. So really cool race.
Yeah, Ryan, I'm good. Congratulations to Grant Clark there on that win last week. Pretty impressive by him. And I was glad to be up there too. I was right there behind Patrick at the finish, and it was a good race. We're down to just 3 races to go in the series. That's hard to believe. And you mentioned Nick Galusha there at the opening. As far as it's his to lose, and he's still got that one drop week that he can throw out there. But yeah, Trevor's up there in the second place now, looking pretty good.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a fun one there at Atlanta. I enjoyed calling it. It was a lot of fun. There was a lot of aggression taken out on the speedway. But yes, Nick Galusha comes out still on top of the leaderboard in points and really looking to secure his championship in the coming weeks. You got Trevor Catalano there that moved up 2 spots, so good race and good outing for him. And we continue to see good races out of the Catalano racing team there. Kyle Wellman down 1 spot after having a miserable day at Atlanta and really probably gashed his championship hopes is one thing that he had said. Paul Fly in the 4th spot. He does drop down 1. Zach Dykstra holds strong in that 5th position. 6th is Timmy Lewis. He moved up 1 spot. Patrick Day, he moved up 3 spots after another good finish for you. Grant Clark, he jumps up 3 spots as well into the top 10 now. First time we've seen Grant Clark inside the top 10. 9th is Paul Negus. He's down 3. And 10th is Harold Ralph. He's down 1. You look over into that 3rd column, you got Derek Rothling in the 11th position. He's up 3 spots, so he's starting to come back in the points. 12th is Daniel Quigley. He's up 3 spots. 13th is Jeff Herman. He does drop 1 spot, as does Ryan Palmer, down 1 spot in the 14th position. 15th is Brandon Voiles. He's up 3, so good outing for Voiles there. 16th, John Ott. He's up 3. 17th, Sam Reed. He drops a spot. 18th is Steven Polacek, up 2 spots. Craig Bridge drops 2 spots into the 19th. And Ernie Williams Jr., another no-show for him. He drops all the way to the 20th spot, drops 12 spots from last week. Guys, looking at those point standings there, I talked to you, Patrick, last week about how are we going to try to push you inside the top 5. You're pushing your way there. Are we going to make it?
It's possible, right? If I have another race like we had at Atlanta, have 3 more races like I had at Atlanta, yeah, it's definitely possible. Zach's going to be hard to beat unless he has a couple of bad races. He's still got a drop week, I believe. I don't think he had too bad of a finish at Atlanta. Nick, as Chris said, it's his to lose. I think he's 30 points on the second place right now. So if he finishes top 10 from here on out, or maybe even top 15, I think he's going to be hard to catch, right? So, but yeah, I got a good chance. We just got to finish the season strong here.
Yeah, Chris, what do you think? We still don't see you inside the top 20, but hey, you got yourself a 3rd place finish last week, making a push there. Are we going to see you crack the top 20?
I'm sitting in 22nd right now. Ernie Williams hasn't been here for a couple weeks, so I think, I'll eventually jump him. I think maybe even Craig Bridges missed a couple, so who knows if he'll fall out. Hopefully I don't get it by default like that. I mean, hopefully I earn it. I had a little better race this last week in Atlanta, and I mean, I'd take that anytime for me. That as far as the top 3. So still 11 points behind my brother, though, so I got to get over that somehow.
Yeah, and so I joked about it last week in our picks and said, I'm going to pick Chris. And I said that at 3rd, and I said it at 1st. I should have actually went with that because that was insane.
Funny. I was going to bring that up. That was funny. Yeah, I thought about that after the race. I'm like, wow, if he would have kept his choice, then he would have had some points there.
I mean, doing that.
I talked about it.
And we're gravitating towards like these betting odds and stuff inside this show. But like the betting odds for Chris to be inside the top 3, you probably would have won a lot of money for that to happen because that just has not happened. I know that's your strong suit, those restrictor plates, but hey, got yourself 3rd place finish. You can't knock it. That's awesome. Great job for that.
Good.
Patrick, your teammate gets in victory lane. Your first win for your team there. What was Grant like after that race? I talked to him in the post-race interview, and he didn't seem enthused about it. Like, hey, you just won, and I didn't feel the enthusiasm.
Yeah, Grant's a very level-headed guy. He doesn't get real excited except when people are, spinning him into a wall and things like that. So, but no, he was happy with that win. He egged me on a little bit there at the end. Like, man, you tried to pass me there. I was like, well, of course I tried to pass you. I need a win too, right? So, but yeah, no, he's always been a level-headed guy. He's not going to get real excited and stuff, especially way this season has gone for him and I, right? So, it's kind of bittersweet at this point.
Sure. Chris, when you seen Grant Clark get the checker flag here, were you shocked to see Grant Clark in victory lane before Patrick Day here?
Definitely before Patrick. I mean, I even said early on, I think we were at maybe Homestead, I think, and I said, Patrick's going to get 2 wins before Richmond. He's going to repeat. So I'm very shocked that Patrick hasn't had a win. I wouldn't have put Grant out of the drivers to possibly get a win in the season. I mean, I think Grant's a good enough driver to get a win, but there's still drivers that I suspected, like Kyle Wellman, like Patrick, that I figured would get that victory possibly before Grant. But again, Grant's been with us for a long time, and I mean, that was awesome to see him get that win. And I followed these guys all night long, they'll tell you. So I never had a whole lot of urgency to go to the front, and I knew I was in good hands right behind them. So it worked out for me. And, the thing I'm surprised about in the top 20 up there, I mean, if Dan Quigley has a couple good runs here, all 3 of your teammates are going to be in the top 10 there, Patrick.
Yeah,
it's very possible. Very possible. And, ever since we've brought Dan on and been able to share information for him, he's actually commented to us that he's learned some things about strategy during a race and things like that. So it's definitely showing in his results.
So let's look at those top 5s and what the top 5s look like right now. And here it is. Here's what we're looking at as far as top 5s go. And the betting odds has changed quite a bit. I mean, a heavy favorite now is that 20 machine of Nick Galusha, sitting with 390 points. Still really has another drop week that he could do. I mean, he did finish 10th last week, but still did not hurt him whenever he led a lap, and he led the most laps, so he got those bonus points. So a 10th place finish really wasn't like a 10th place finish for anybody else. So that was a really good outing for him, being able to lead the most laps there. Moving up into the second position, Trevor Catalano, and you can see his betting odds there at 190. Those have improved from last week just a little bit. But you look, I mean, he really has been solid. I mean, he did have an 18th there at Las Vegas, really his only kind of outlier there, other than the 2 that he started with at the beginning of the season. But coming on strong here, the one thing I'd like to see a little bit more from Trevor Catalano is leading the most laps. Are we going to see him out there and really dominate a race? And he really needs to do that in these closing laps. And looking at these next 3 races, guys, before we move on to these other 3 and talk about them, but looking at the next 3 races, I see one race here that you may pencil in that Trevor Catalano could potentially win. What of these 3 races would you think Trevor Catalano has the best shot at winning?
I think his best shot is probably going to be Iowa. But any of the 3 really. He's like I said, he's probably the best talent in the top 5 up there. And I, as far as mentioning him getting out there leading most laps, I think he wouldn't mind doing that, but he's not going to put himself in harm's way to do that, which he's kind of shown here the last part of this season. So, so I look for him to stay level-headed, stay up towards the front, but not get himself in a bad situation. And I think Iowa, because it's a fairly fast track, but it's going to require some tire saving and actually some braking through the turns and actually driving the car really well. I think that's his best shot.
Chris, what do you think?
Well, I'd probably go with this week here at Charlotte. I think, I don't know. I guess just from my standpoint, I'm not real familiar with Iowa. I don't even think I've ever really ran there, so I can't speak on that a whole lot. But I think Charlotte's going to be a little bit more technical for a lot of guys. A lot of guys coming through the trioval will be tricky tonight. I mean, I don't think it's going to be hard for these guys in the top 5, but it's a matter of keeping it clean and and keeping your car clean there to be at the end. But I mean, you mentioned that the bonus points.
Yeah.
Again, I don't know if I can add them all up, but I mean, you're close to 20 bonus points that Nick Galusha's getting, and Trevor has 3.
Yeah.
And you're looking at a difference of 31 in points. So, yeah, Galusha still has that drop week, but Catalano hasn't had one really since week 2. Last week, I kind of ruled him out. I said he was the one that was kind of the odd man out because he had already used those 2, but now Dykstra has. I don't know. It's definitely Nick's to lose, but these guys got to wrap up some more bonus points when they get the chance.
Yeah, Patrick, I go with you on this as well. I look at where Trevor Catalano finished at Bristol. He won that race. And then you look at Richmond, he finished second. So those short tracks he's really good at. And Iowa kind of plays in that kind of same way. So I'm going to go with him there at Iowa. I think he has his best shot at winning there. And yes, he does need to lead the most laps and really gain on bonus points on Nick Galusha. All right, looking in that third spot, yeah, Kyle Wellman just had a terrible race at Atlanta. Just was really aggressive. He really wanted it. Finished 22nd. He did lead a lap there, but now his betting odds has really went wayside now to win this championship. In that fourth position there, you got the old 94 machine of Paul Fly. Again, he had a rough race last week, 20th. So, his betting odds is not in the best of favors for him. These betting odds would obviously flip if we would see Nick Galusha, wreck out maybe potentially at Charlotte and maybe even at Iowa going into Nashville. Then these betting odds is just out of the window. I mean, you could basically say any one of these drivers could potentially win this championship. In the fifth position there, Zach Dykstra. We talked about him coming into this race that he really had a race to drop, and well, he had to drop it at Atlanta. He got in an accident, finishes 23rd, and now that's his drop race. So he don't have any more, and his big problem is just not being able to lead the laps out there on the speedway, and that's really ultimately what he needs to do to try to stay inside the top 5. Guys, you're looking at the betting odds here. We did this last week, and you said, you guys picked Trevor Catalano to win some money. We're still sticking with that and saying that was your bet at that point in time. You actually put money on it. And hey, things are actually looking up for you guys as long as he finishes out strong here. And I think he would need some help by Nick Galusha. And, Nick Galusha's just been so dominant this season. I mean, you look at that. Look at that. I mean, other than Michigan, he has not been outside the top 10. That's rough. That's hard to do in a group of talented drivers in this truck series. Very, very much impressed with Nick Galusha. Are you as shocked as I am at this stat, seeing that he has not dropped outside the top 10 and leading this championship in dominant fashion right now?
No, I'm not. And the reason I'm not is because the majority of these races have gone his style of race. Had we been talking about very few incidents, very few cautions in all the races this year, I think you see a different top 5. But it is what it is, and he's been racing very well according to how we do, right? The one race you have up there on his list that had long green flag runs was Michigan, and look at what happened, right?
Yeah.
Now, he was up towards the front in the running, right, and got involved in some accidents.
Right.
So we have to give that. But I think he was still probably a top 10 car there, but he wasn't. I don't think he was a top 5 at the end there.
And Chris, I know from you, you're not really shocked because this was a pick for you as a champion. So your thoughts on Nick Galusha right now?
Yeah, like you said, I'm not shocked about it. I don't think he's going to lose it. I mean, he's going to have 2 weeks of probably 15th to 20th or worse out of these last 3. So obviously it could happen. I mean, the fortunate thing for him is he's been out front. I mean, look at how many bonus points he's got. So he hasn't had anybody to, get tangled up with in a wreck because he's been in the lead a lot of the time. So I'm not surprised at all. Like you said, I picked him as my champion. And I really I think he's pretty much got it wrapped up. I mean, if he gets through this week here with another top 10, I mean, you might as well give it to him. I mean, it's not there yet, but it's close.
It's very close. I'm sure he can feel it. He can feel it getting closer and closer. And the pressure of winning a championship in the Tarmac Truck Series is really close for Nick Galusha. It's only a matter of weeks now until he does get crowned. Okay, let's take a look at incident points, because that has changed a little bit after last week, of course. There's the updated list. John Ott is still on top with most incident points at 100, up 14 from last week. Paul Fly had 9 last week at 83. Then Ryan Palmer at 91. He's at 16 from last week. Grant Clark, 96. Only 8, and of course your winner from last week. Patrick, you had a really good outing there. Only 4 incident points, but you can see those drivers that was in the red. Derek Roffling, Kyle Wellman, Daniel Quigley, Zach Dykstra. We talked about some of those drivers, and they had a rough outing. Well, it shows in the incident points that they did have a rough outing. There, Jeff Herman, 42. He was up 8, but still, Jeff, one of our safest drivers out there on the Speedway. So there is the incident points through week 9, round 9. Looking at the laps led, this is where we're looking at Nick Galusha. We've already said it. We've talked enough about Nick Galusha and what he's done up front. There it is, 232 laps led. Kyle Wellman at 141, Timmy Lewis at 86, Trevor Catalano at 69, sharing that with Johnny Evans. And interesting, Johnny did not race the full season with us, so that number looks really good for him, only racing about half of the season. Ryan Palmer at 53, Paul Fly at 26, Brandon Stewart at 19. Patrick, you're down there at 15. We'd like to see you up there leading a little bit more. Those times are coming. He shakes his head, no, that's not going to happen, but I feel it. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. Now's a great time. We've got 3 races left in the season to donate to us there at the PayPal account on that email address. We would greatly appreciate the donations. And speaking about donation, greatly appreciate Patrick Day. Really do appreciate you guys over there and donating to us. $75 up there on the top donor board, and Paul Fly, really great to see Paul Fly donating the $25. So we've made $100 on the season, and we greatly appreciate it a lot. All right, so we are on to Charlotte. Man, we did something new last week, right? And we did the betting odds and the betting cards, the Tarmac betting cards. Well, we're back with those cards once again. The points did shake up a little bit. So we'll see how this one shakes up. So let's get over to those cards real quick, and then I will show you the points. There's the points on the right. I have 7 points. I actually went backwards from last week. Figures. I'm not very good at this betting stuff. I lose a lot of money. Patrick, you got 13 points there. You're doing very well. And Chris, there right behind him at 12 points. No one got any points from the picks because neither one of us thought Patrick Day, you would be in there. We didn't think Chris would be in there. We definitely didn't think Grant was going to win this thing. So that just went out the window. So now we've got betting cards, the new one's out. And so let's see here. The first one is up on the board. And I'm going to let the loser go first. That's going to be me. So I'll go first, and then Chris, and then Patrick, you will have the last bet on this one. The Studio 8 gambling card, your total cautions here at Charlotte. The line is at 6.5, so we'd have to see at least 7 cautions here, and I am going to play this card this week because I am a little bit down and I need some points here. So I'm going to go with the over here at 6.5, and I believe we're going to see quite a few cautions like we've seen last week. So Chris, your pick here. Are you going to play the card? That's a crazy question, but you're playing the card?
Yeah, I mean, you know I'm playing the card. I mean, scared money don't make money, so I'm going to take the over also with you, Ryan. You're not going to get points on me, so I'm with you. If we would have done a little bit better there the last couple of weeks, I mean, Charlotte's tougher than Atlanta for sure. I think we're going to be over.
Okay. Patrick, what do you got for us? Are you going to play the card, or are you not going to play the card?
Well, I went back and looked. I did what Chris did last week, right?
Yeah.
I think we had 2 races that we had at Charlotte. One was within the next gen NASCAR, which went caution free, and the other one was with a truck, and I think there was only 3 cautions.
Mm-hmm.
But
the but. Okay.
There's a few to brewing.
Yeah.
So I am not playing this card this week. I think it's too volatile out there. I honestly think if everybody has a cool head, we're under this point, but I just don't know. So I am not going to play this card this week.
Hey, Chris, we could gain 2 points on the leader right here if it happens.
I'm smelling the lead. I'm smelling it.
He's smelling the lead. All
Chris
right.
is good. You're spinning people left and right each turn. You what?
Okay. This next card's an interesting one, and we're gonna start with you, Chris, then me, then Patrick on this one. So here we go. This is your next card out there. This is the gambling card, the least incident points. And you look here, Jeff Herman is the favorite at 180, minus 180. He's been the safest driver out there. Nick Galusha at 120, Timmy Lewis at 40, Derek Roffling at plus 100, Derek Quigley at plus 220, and then Steve Miller at 840. Okay, so who are we picking here? Chris, you're up.
Well, I'm definitely playing still. I wish I could have went last year, but I think these cards should be done a little bit differently. You got correct points as 2, wrong as minus 1. I'm taking my brother, but I really think the points ought to be like, for plus 840. I mean, I had to get like 8 points. But no, I am really taking my brother. He doesn't ever try to pass anybody, so he damn sure shouldn't hit anything. He should be at 0.
Well, he should be. And, I put that 840 there just because I thought it would be funny and he would see it and be like, yeah, that's me. I'll probably be drunk and hit the wall by myself. So, yeah, Steve Miller's your pick here, picking your brother. So I'm going to go with Jeff Herman here, the minus 180. He's been safe all season. I'm going to continue to stick with him and give him some kudos here. So I'm picking Jeff Herman here.
All right. And this isn't because you did it, Chris. I had this made up before, but yes, I'm playing this, and I'm saying Steve Miller as well. For the exact same reasons that I think he's going to be in the back, being safe. And the reason I didn't go Jeff Herman, the last couple of races, he's actually been more racy, right? So he's up there closer to where stuff is happening.
Yeah.
And he's actually been gaining some incident points here recently. So I think, as far as betting goes, I think Steve Miller's a safer bet than Jeff Herman.
So here's my thing. Like, you pick Steve Miller because you think he's in the back and he's staying safe. But I've literally been in the back watching Steve Miller, and he's by himself and he wrecks or hits the wall. And it's like, Steve, what are you doing back there? I don't know, man. He just...
Well, I mean, here's the thing. You're probably right. That's probably going to happen twice. So he's going to get 4 incident points. It could probably still be lower than everybody on this board, and he'll be out of the race.
Yeah. I should put a stipulation on this. The driver had to race at least 50% of the laps.
Then I wouldn't have Steve.
But I tell you, I imagine that you're going to be going to your brother right after this show because we're about to go green flag and say, hey, buddy, keep it clean tonight. I've got some points on you. So, all right. There we go. There's your pick. So you guys both take Steve Miller. I take Jeff Herman. Jeff, come on. Pull me through some points here. I need it. And I need you guys to lose 1 point. All right. Let's see. The next card. Patrick, you're going to be up first. And then Chris. And then I'll have the last pick on this one. And here it is. The Studio 8 gambling card. Lead changes. At 13.5 is the line. What do you feel we're going to see?
I'm fairly confident about this one. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty confident. I'm playing it for under.
For the under. Okay.
Yep. It's not going to be an Atlanta race. This is going to be more single file style racing. So I don't think you can have as many lead changes.
Okay. And Chris, what do you think?
Is it really my turn or is it yours?
Yours.
Oh, okay. I'm going with the under. I agree with Patrick. I think it's going to spread out a little bit. My only concern is if there is a lot of cautions, which we talked about being over, then there's probably going to be more than 13.5 lead changes. But so it kind of contradicts what I said as far as the cautions, but I still think 13.5.
He froze.
Froze there a little bit.
13 and a half. But he's froze in time.
I'm back.
Okay, he's back.
There he is.
But yeah, I think it's just I think the leaders going to separate themselves every time on the restart, and I think we might see as many different leaders as we do cautions, but that's about it.
Okay, so I'm going to play the card as well here, and I'm going completely opposite with you guys. I want some points here. It may not pan out my way, but I'm going to go with the over here at 13.5. So I think we'll see at least 14 lead changes. So I'm shooting to try to shoot that number from 7 down to 0. It may happen by the end of the season because I lost 2 last week. We'll see what happens this week. All right, so that's your betting cards. Next up, we have our picks. So let's get right into it. And starting with you, Chris, you've got yourself queued up for that 3rd spot. Who are we going to see here in that 3rd spot? Will we see somebody new for Chris? Patrick, what do you think he's got here?
I'm looking at this. I think he's going to say Timmy Lewis here.
Okay. Chris, reveal what you have in that 3rd spot.
Oh, very good pick, Patrick. It is Timmy Lewis that I've got there. I do feel, I've went back and looked. Timmy's done well in the past. He's also done well at this size track in the past. I think all the Rat Bastard teammates are going to be tough to beat again, but I think Timmy's been on a tear, and I think he'll find himself in the top 5 in points after this week.
Good pick.
Good pick.
Yep. Timmy's been doing, like you've said, he's been doing well, and he's coming up into points and trying to find himself inside the top 5 again. Patrick, it's time for you to reveal your 3rd place card. You've got it queued up for us. Chris, who do you think he has here in that 3rd spot?
Oh, man, I don't know. He kind of told us at the very beginning before we went live that he'd probably surprise us with some, but I don't know who he would take there. But I'm gonna say Derek Roffler.
Good pick. Nope, didn't take Derek. I think Ryan said that when we were talking earlier, he said this is probably the first time this gentleman's hit the board.
Yes.
But he's been running strong here recently. I'm going with Zach Dykstra here. I think he's going to run well here. I think he's going to stay out of trouble, and I think he's going to pull out a good finish.
Yep, Zach Dykstra, the first time he's hit the board. Actually, have not had a graphic for him for the top 3 and had to make it this week. So Zach Dykstra hits the top 3 for the first time this season. Good pick. Didn't have the great finish last week, so he's trying to get a rebound. So Zach Dykstra in that 3rd position. Good pick. All right. I have the 3rd position keyed up for us. What do you think I have?
I think, I don't know if you're thinking the same way I am, but I'm going to say you're not. So I'm going to say you're going to say Nick Galusha.
Nick Galusha. Chris, what do you think?
He looks frozen. Nope, he's back.
No, I'm not. I don't think I'm frozen. I heard everything there at least. So, it is cold out. I think you're going to go with Kyle Wellman.
All right, so my 3rd pick is Nick Galusha. Yes, Patrick Day got it right.
Get bonus points for picking him right.
Yeah.
No kidding.
So, I picked Nick Galusha here. I really feel like, for the win, he don't really need it. He just needs to be safe out there. If he finishes inside the top 5, I think he's just fine with that because he's got this thing. He's got this championship in the bag, really. He just needs to continue to just knock out top 5s. And if he has a top 10 here and there, whatever. He's doing really, 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 really well. And so I'm just going to put him in third position just because I think that we may not see as an aggressive Nick Galusha maybe trying to go after a win here. All right. The silver bracket here in the second position. Chris has us queued up and ready to reveal that second place card. Patrick, what does he have?
I think Chris is going to think that Galusha's going to just kind of be safe, kind of like you said, right? Finish out the season so that he gets the championship. So I think he's going to say his Galusha's teammate here in Paul Fly.
Okay.
Man, you talked all about Galusha there, then I was going to go with Paul Fly. All right, so no, I'm going to go with Johnny Evans here. I think I don't know how he's going to run here. I don't have a whole lot of history of anything, but he's obviously one of the better drivers, and I think he'll be right up front. I think Johnny Evans is second.
And Johnny Evans, one of the drivers that has probably one of the highest iRating in the Truck Series. Man, I wish I would have seen him start from Daytona all the way through this season and see what would have happened. Been very, very interesting to see what that 14 machine would have been able to do of Johnny Evans. Patrick, you have the next second place card ready to flip over for us. Chris, what does he have?
I think he'll probably go with Galusha here.
Galusha.
Pick, but no, I said it early in the broadcast, there's a storm brewing, right? No, I went Johnny Evans as well here. I think Johnny's going to have a good race. He's been doing really well. This is going to be kind of his style of track. So, yeah, he's going to have a good finish here.
Both take Johnny Evans. First driver hits the board twice tonight. The 14 of Johnny Evans. Man, interesting. Yeah, I'm interested to know and reveal what Patrick's number one pick is, with him saying that things are brewing out there on the racetrack, because he's right. There are things brewing out there, and after the Atlanta race, like, it was one that I enjoyed calling. Drivers may have been frustrated with each other, but fans that was watching the show is like, I want more. I can't wait for next week and see what happens out on the racetrack. These guys are going to settle it one way or another. All right. I have the number 2 pick ready to flip over. Guys, what am I thinking here in the number 2 spot?
I think you're going to say the gentleman that's currently in second place in the points, Trevor Catalano.
Trevor Catalano.
I'm going Timmy Lewis.
With Timmy Lewis. All right. My second place pick is Trevor Catalano. Patrick Day.
Did you really see all these or what?
No, I didn't. I was the same as you. I didn't see him when he screwed up in the beginning of the podcast.
Yeah, pre-broadcast I actually had these popped up and had to switch them off before everybody's seen them. But yeah, Trevor Catalano I have here in the second position. He's had some momentum going on his side here, and I think that will continue here, and I think we'll see him hit that second position. All right, it's time for the most important one, and who we will see actually win here at Charlotte. It's tough, but will we see a new winner? We've seen quite a few this season. We've only seen one repeat winner. Will we see it again? Are you guys thinking that? Chris has us ready to be flipped over on that card. He's ready to hit that button, to flip it over, to announce his winner here. Patrick, who does he have?
Yeah, that's a tough one. I'm going along with the line to pick second, so I'm going to say he's going to say Trevor Catalano here has the momentum. He's going to pick this one.
All right.
Good pick. No, there is a storm brewing out there. We talked about it, but you got to catch them to take them out. And I just think Nick Galusha is going to make a statement here. I think Nick Galusha is going to pretty much wrap up the points. I mean, obviously it won't be clinched, but it'll be awful tough to catch him. He's going to go out there and get his second victory of the season.
Gotta catch him to take him out. What a highlight statement there. Will we see that out on the track? I know Chris is probably thinking, God, I hope not. But the fans are probably like, I can't wait to see it happen. Okay. All right. Patrick, number 1 pick. You're ready. What are you going to show us? Chris, who's he got?
He's got some surprising picks out there. Man, I don't know. You know, it's the storm's definitely brewing in Patrick's mind, and I mean, so I think he thinks every rat bastard's going to be out of there, and Kyle Wellman. Trying to think of who that really leaves. I would like to say he's picking himself. I don't think he's that confident. Yeah, he knows how that worked for him. Let's go Derek here. I don't know.
That's a good pick. Derek's solid, but no, it's not Derek. It's actually Trevor Catalano, 1 spot ahead of where Ryan picked him. Right. I think him and Johnny Evans are going to work well together. I think Evans is because Evans is out of the championship. I think he's going to let Trevor have it at the end there. And the reason you're right, Chris. The reason I didn't go with Kyle Wellman or any of the Rat Bastards this week is I just don't know the volatility there and how it's going to transfer onto Charlotte, which is Charlotte. The way it's going to race is going to lend a lot of tight racing going into the corners, and if they're not willing to give room, it could be very explosive.
Man, you're making me more and more excited for this countdown to green to be over and get out there on the track and see these boys put it down. Because it was fun last week. It was exciting. All right. Who do I have here? In the number 1 spot to win here at Charlotte. Patrick, you've been perfect so far in getting my picks right. What do I have here?
I don't know if I'm going to get this one right. I think you're going to give him another chance. He's been running hard, just had bad luck, but I think you're going to say Kyle Wellman here.
Chris.
Man, I should just take whatever he took. But the thing is I feel like you have Patrick up there, and Patrick wouldn't say his own name, so I think you got Patrick.
Solid picks, guys. Really solid picks here. And, man, I can't wait. Can't wait. Can't wait for this feud to continue to build even more after Atlanta. I think it's going to. I don't think it's going to subside anytime soon, as we still got these 3 races left on the season. And things really get heated up tonight when Kyle Wellman finds victory lane. Patrick hits it again on the nail, 3 for 3. I think Kyle Wellman will be our new winner on the season. We will see another new winner here at Charlotte. Oh, it's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting. Will Kyle Wellman and Nick Galusha have some words to be said after this one, or the entire team? The answer is probably yes on that, as we are ready to go to Charlotte. The countdown to green session is over. Patrick, Chris, we'll see you suited up in the track. Good luck to you.
See you guys on the track.
Rookie or veteran, no matter how long you've been coming to this event, there are butterflies. There have to be.
The biggest race of your career, one of the biggest races in the world. I guarantee you there's a lot of butterflies.
The white flag at the Daytona 500. It's time to get busy. Horrific crash on the final lap of the Daytona 500.
A second time, the Daytona 500 goes to Jimmy Johnson.
God almighty, you just won the 500.
Kurt Busch.
Are you kidding me? Wow. Are you there?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Tarmac Esports Truck Series. And it's going to be a fun one tonight here at Charlotte for the 105. We've got 105 miles for 70 laps around tonight. The lights are on. The action is just about to start as we're getting ever so close to the green flag of this one. I am your host tonight, Ryan Griffith, and I'll have the call all evening long. So sit back, relax, drink a cold one. It's going to be a fun one. It's going to be exciting. We haven't had one that hasn't been that way, and the drama has always been here. So it should be interesting tonight. I do have a special guest with me today, and that special guest with me to call the race today is Byron Gay. Byron, do you got a copy over there?
I do. How are you, Ryan?
I am doing good. So Byron's our pit reporter here tonight. And I think it's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting. Got a good field of cars here. We are now set for qualifying, and we do have Kyle Wellman that does enter into the pits. He got here a little late, and we do have him on the grid. All right, so those qualifying drivers are going to be hitting those lap times out there momentarily. You'll be able to see those pop up on the Tarmac Tower right there. Looking at those betting cards that we talked about in the countdown to green session, you look at those caution laps. Are we going to see that? And how many are we going to see around here? The caution line is set at 6.5. So where is that going to land? We got two of us that believe it's going to be over that 6.5. So we're going to at least see 7. We'll see here in this one. Also, the lead changes here at 13.5. That should be interesting. I think that's going to be really, really close around there on the lead changes. And then you've got the incident points of Jeff Herman, Nick Galusha, Timothy Lewis, Derek Roffling, Daniel Quigley, and Steve Miller. Where is that going to fall? Will one of those be the least incident points tonight? Hey, last week, big old Grant Clark got the win at Atlanta, and his teammate Patrick Day was able to push him across the line. So Grant Clark has seen victory lane now, and there is what the schedule has looked like throughout the season. And we've only seen one repeat winner on the season. That was Johnny Evans there at Richmond and Homestead. So will we see a new winner tonight? I'd say there's some really good drivers out there. Byron, if you had to pick somebody out on this list of drivers that would be a new winner tonight, who would be a guy that you're looking at tonight?
I might be biased by saying this because of driving with Charlotte Motor Speedway to start this season, obviously stepping back. But I'm going to go right now with my teammate, Derek Roffling. I mean, he has been flying in practice. He is flying in qualifying right now, top of the board as we're talking about it. And it just seems like he is fit to be in this car around Charlotte right now.
I tell you what, he's one that is a very, very good driver, knows how to work around these trucks as he's part of a team that does this for a living. So, yes, he is very, very quick. He was the fastest out there in practice, and now you see him on top of the leaderboard. Will he stand there towards the end of this? We still have quite a few cars that still take time around the Speedway. So tonight... This is a night for Nick Galusha. It's interesting because, you know, Nick's sitting there with a really good points lead right now. All he needs to do is really have a really good outing here. And, you know, he still has that ultimately a drop week in his back pocket that if he does do bad here, he's okay. But we got 2 more races left. I imagine his eyes is just here on this track, not too far in the future. But he is closing in on a Truck Series championship in the Tarmac Esports Series. Looking at Nick Galusha this season, Byron, what have you seen from this guy, and are you impressed by what he's doing out there?
Yeah, the first couple of races this season, he was very, very good at, maintaining his tires, and it seemed like his tires would just never go away, and he was always being able to put himself there at the end, night after night. And from what I've watched the rest of the season, he's just doing the same thing. And it's just put himself in a good position constantly. So he's being able to, not only just maintain his tires, his pace, doing his best to avoid as many collisions as he can to set himself up. And I think he's got a really good shot at winning it all.
Absolutely, and you look at the betting odds. I mean, his betting odds is in favor of winning this championship by quite a bit. Now, you had Kyle Wellman there. He was sitting in second last week, just dropped into the third, had a bad outing, finished 22nd. There's always been that bad feud between the Rat Bastards and himself, and it's just been out there on that track, and he is kind of like, and a lot of people have said it, he is the Kyle Busch of this series. And it's not a bad thing. Not a bad thing at all, as Kyle Wellman being a Kyle Busch. It's good for fans. It's good for the viewers. They love to watch it. So it'll be interesting to see what happens here. Hey, we got a new leader on top of the leaderboard. That is Nate Davis. Brandon Voiles drops into the second spot there. So we got about 15 seconds left in qualifying. We're going to step away here just for a quick second before we get back. And then we're going to set these guys off here at Charlotte. We'll see you back here in just a few minutes.
And there's your beautiful baby.
Any day now.
Really? You're eating Doritos? He's eating Doritos on my ultrasound. Do you see what I have to do?
I know.
Give me that.
All right, race fans, welcome back to Charlotte Motor Speedway for the 105. We got 105 miles with 70 laps around here tonight. And you got Nate Davis that has captured the pole. He is the fastest driver out here. The number 36, he was with us early in the season. He's taking a little bit of a break and he's back and he sets quick time. So 36 on pole. On the outside of him is 22 of Brandon Voiles. Hey, we're looking at a little bit of track facts before we get ourselves underway here. Track facts here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. It is a 1.5 mile speedway. Your corners are at 24-degree banking. On the front stretch and back stretch, it's both 5 degrees of banking. So, should be a good race to be had here. Hey, you got 40 feet all the way around this place. So, here they are. They're going to roll off onto the speedway. And here is your Bell IT Solution race facts of this one. 70 laps, 105 miles, a pit road speed limit of 30 miles an hour. And that fuel window, it looks like 35 to 80 laps is where we're going to set. Byron, what are you most interested to watch in this race early on?
Early on, I think the biggest thing I'm watching is the 06 and the 24 that have qualified down in 16th and 17th place. Grant Clark and Patrick Day have decided to start back towards the back end of the field. And, interesting enough, the 36 is requested to go to the end of the longest line, so the 88 is going to go ahead and take the command here.
All right, so yes, I do see that. The 88 is going to be your pole setter now. So he'll be on the inside. On the outside of him would be Brandon Voiles. That second row is Timothy Lewis and Ryan Palmer. The next row is made up of Nick Galusha, your points leader, and Johnny Evans. Paul Fly in that next row with Trevor Catalano, Paul Negus, and Daniel Quigley. That rounds out the top 10. In this one, we're about to go green flag here out of turns 4 the command of that Good Wrench 88 machine. Looking for the green flag here. And they'll roll down the front stretch in the Geico restart zone, and the green flag is looking to wave in the air. We have green flag in the air for the 88 machine. Derek Roffling has not led a whole lot of laps in this series, but like Byron, you said earlier, that he has been pretty fast here. Must have been putting a lot of work in that truck. You'd like to have a good outing here, and early in, he's already taken over the race lead, and see how long he holds on to it. As I say that, Timothy Lewis about loses control of that. Somehow he holds on to it as everyone spreads out just a little bit there. That could have gotten a little dangerous there, Byron, as the 41 got a little loose there.
Yeah, I noticed the 41 getting loose there on the high side, but also our leader, Derek Ruffling, there on the bottom. Must have been some cold tires. He did have a little bit of a moment there coming out of the exit of 4, was able to control it and still maintain that lead.
We did talk to some of the drivers early on before the race started, and they said those first couple laps is a little tricky. You got to get the tires warmed up, and then you're okay. It seems to stick pretty well here. So early in, you see a little bit of movement out there. You see some scrapes on the 10 car on the outside of him, as well as in 22. You see those scrape marks on their numbers as they make contact again there in turns 1 and 2. That was the 22 and the 10. It all clears up. Derek Ruffling still your race leader right now, leading out front right now. And check there on the intervals at about 0.2 of a second over Nick Galusha right now. That has just now taken over the second position from Ryan Palmer. And Palmer going to battle hard on the outside. Not going to be able to stay there with your points leader right now, that 20 machine. Teammate of Timmy Lewis runs in the third position. Ryan Palmer, he is also a teammate there. So you've got teammates stacked up here early in on this, and that's kind of been the way of the season. This Rat Basket has been really, really strong in the series.
It's definitely interesting to see how this draft's going to play out here with having teammates. I'm curious to see how much of that higher line we're going to see later in these runs as long as we can stay green.
Yeah, absolutely. That was one thing that was a question. Would the draft really come into play here? And a lot of them felt like it was going to be. And as we speak of that, a pass for the lead, Nick Galusha is going to take over your race lead in this one on lap 5. And he'll lead lap 6 on this one. New leader on top, and he'll grab a couple bonus points here, or one extra bonus point. Some of these drivers hoping that he doesn't pick up the most bonus points on the series or on today's race. Timmy Lewis runs in the second. Move Derek Ruffling on back into the third. Ryan Palmer into the fourth position. Fifth runs Johnny Evans. Trevor Catalano runs 6th. 7th runs Paul Negus right now in the 52. 8th and started on the outside of row number 1 was Brandon Boyles. He's dropped back 6 positions. Nate Davis and dropped all the way back in the back of the pack. But look at him. He's back here in the 9th position, battling for 8th with Brandon Boyles. Bobby Smith runs in the 10th position. Steven Polacek in the 11th position. 12th is Paul Fly. 13th is Kyle Wellman. 14th was Yusuf Spur. And 15th is Alex Straczynski back in the 23 car. Good to see him back. Ernie Williams Jr. in the 16th position. Daniel Quigley in the 17th. 18th runs Patrick Day back here, just kind of preserving time. Brant Clark on back here in the 19th. 20th, Chris Miller, and Steve Miller rounds out the final position right now. That's through the order right now, early in on this race with 8 laps down in this one. Byron, you see Kyle Wellman starting to make a move here. He's up 10 spots from the beginning of this race.
Yeah, I was actually watching Timmy Lewis there in front of him. Lewis was actually running second, had a moment coming into the quad oval and has fallen back. So it was kind of interesting to go back and watch that. I don't know if it was contact that started that, but it looks like, we stayed green, so everything's good on that truck right now. So
good call out there while we was going through the field. And yes, the 41 has dropped down a few spots from where we went through the field, and now he's got some pressure with Bobby Smith down below him. Trevor Catalano still running in the 5th position, and he is the guy that's in second in the points right now and has had a pretty good season. If you take away the first 2 races of the year, we would be talking maybe something different, as we do have a caution flag out in the speedway. Looks like maybe Brandon Boyle's involved in this. I was in car with Brandon Boyles there, as you've seen that car about to go up and over. Brandon Boyles, take another look at that. Thought he was clear, had the 92 on the outside, and up into the outside wall was Brandon Boyles there. So I have to come in and do some repairs to that truck. Looks pretty rough there on the front end. Byron, I heard you right when that happened. Ooh, so you've seen it. You was watching it.
Yeah, I saw it right there in the background. I was watching the front end of the field there on the monitor, and I just happened to see the 22 get turned around there. Can't blame anybody there but himself, in my opinion. Just not knowing where exactly the 92 was there on his outside.
Yeah, absolutely. And you always want to try to make the best angle that you could possibly do whenever you're coming into a turn, so you kind of try to get that arcing motion there, and it seemed like he just got a little bit too high there, and there was a car on his outside, and that took him around. All right, we got some pit stops. Byron, what do we got down there?
Got a lot of cars coming in. Looked like one car stayed out, maybe two. And I'm wondering how many of these guys are going to take 2 tires versus 4 here. Johnny Evans and Bobby Smith do stay out. Everybody else coming in. Tire wear must be pretty high here, so I would assume we're probably going to see some 4-tire pit stops.
I would think we're going to see some 4 tires. I bet you're probably right on that. Some 4 tires would probably be the way to go. Yes, we are only 12 laps into this, and only a few drivers stayed out there. Will this pay out for the drivers that's staying out and everybody else coming in? We'll see. As Nick Galusha wins off pit road, and then Derek Rothling comes out into the second position off the pit road. Then Trevor Catalano, Paul Negus, Kyle Wellman, Nate Davis, Alex Rzinski, Ernie Williams, Daniel Quigley, and Patrick Day. Johnny Evans decides to stay out onto the raceway, and so we'll see how that one plays out. Will we be able to hold his own up there on some older tires? Bobby Smith also up there on some older tires. We do have Nick Galusha. They did come down. We'll see what we have from Nick Galusha. Hey, Nick, you decided to come in, get some fresh tires. Seems like everybody else did. Got 2 cars that stayed out. Was that the right decision?
Yeah, not really sure. I don't know how much we really burned off. It was only 5%, so I don't know how much that's really going to affect it, so we'll see.
Hey, you've been looking good out there. You got yourself some laps led. What's your mindset coming into this race? And you've only got this race and 2 more races, and this championship could be yours. What's your mindset?
Chris said it. I'm going to try to put the dagger in it tonight and just win it.
All right, there you have it. You have it there. You heard it from him. The 20 machine is going for the win here tonight. He wants to say adios to everybody and wants to sail into the sunset with a Tarmac Esports Truck Series championship. And, man, he's been strong. He's been strong. He's been making good moves. And so we'll see what he does here on this restart as the lights are out on the iRacing pace car. We're going green flag once again. First caution flag of the day. That line is set at 6.5, and we're at 1 right now. Johnny even said early that he believes that line is going to be under. He believes there are going to be less cautions here. That could be.
I'm no betting man, but I think we could be under tonight. I mean, those first 11 laps there looked really clean. Just a small driver mistake brought out the first caution. I think we could stay clean the rest of the way, to be honest with you. And it'd be interesting, especially to see some green flag pit stops tonight.
Well, I'd say you're probably right, because normally when I bet, I normally lose. So I betted the over, probably going to lose. So you're probably right. It's going to be the under. All right, we're looking for green flag in the Geico restart zone. Green flag is waving in the air.
Great jump there by that inside line. Looks like the outside line was sleeping there. So Johnny Evans got a great start. So just pulling Nick Galusha along with him. He's going to clear that outside lane already.
Yeah, great start there. Does look like Bobby was sleeping on that restart, as they're kind of stacking up right behind Bobby. So things are getting a little heated here. We got to go maybe 3 wide. No, Derek Rothling decides no, he's not going to do that. He's just going to stick in behind the 42 machine. And there we go. Trevor Catalano around. We got another caution. Caution flag's going to fly out on the speedway. Hey, we talked about that earlier. Some of these drivers said that the first couple laps in these things were a little slick, and we got some fresh tires on the guys, and around goes the 55 of Trevor Catalano, running second in the points. Here's a look at it. It's loose, and unfortunate for Derek Rothling, he does make contact with the 55 machine, so not sure how much damage is on that. Byron, I don't know if you've got a good view of that down there in the pits on the the 88 machine.
I mean, if there is any damage to this car, from what I'm seeing on the monitor, it is very minimal on that front right. Maybe pushed in just a little bit. It's going to cause just a small amount of aero drag. I would be shocked to see him take his fast repair this early. I think all that damage is repairable, and it's just cosmetic. Nothing too bad with that engine right now.
Yeah, it don't look like a whole lot of damage to the front end of that car. And it doesn't even look like there's hardly any kind of dent to the front end of the 88 machine. So he is going to go down pit road, and the pit crew will go over the wall and take a look at that thing just to verify and make sure everything's straight on that car.
Yeah, we see a lot of guys coming down here that didn't come down last time. We saw our leader, Johnny Evans, come down. It looks like Bobby Smith stayed out for another cycle. So it'll be interesting, we got guys that are on just barely scrubbed tires, brand new stickers, and then we have one guy out there still on the set that he started on.
Yeah, and it's interesting that the guys that did come in the last time and they decide to come down again to get a new set of tires that, there was nothing wrong with those. I'm sure they didn't even touch hardly any usage on those tires, but they decided to come down for some fresh tires and just hang out in the back. A lot of guys said that that's their plan tonight.
Yeah, and I wonder how many of these guys are actually playing this fuel strategy tonight. Because, this is 70 laps. It's only 75% fuel capacity. So fuel saving is going to play a big part in this. I'm not sure exactly how much fuel these guys have in their tanks right now. But I noticed under that first caution, Johnny Evans was saving. So it's going to be interesting to see how many people end up saving more towards the end of the race to limit that amount of fuel that they have to put in and shorten up that pit stop at the end of the race.
You're right. We got 30 seconds. We're going to step away for just a quick commercial break.
My truck isn't something you want to see in your rearview mirror.
My truck is a 3,400-pound precision-guided sledgehammer.
I guess you could say my truck likes to take the path less traveled.
My truck never gets claustrophobic in tight spaces.
My truck doesn't haul tools, but hardware, that's a different story.
The NASCAR Camping World Truck Series. Tough trucks, tough racing.
All right, we're ready to go green flag here as we're on the backstretch, and you got the 20 car on the inside, you got the 42 on the outside. That's been the drama-making machine all season long, so what will happen here? That 42 would love to lead some extra laps tonight, maybe even be the most laps led, and steal some extra bonus points on that front row. What do you think of that, Byron, the front row right there?
Honestly, I've been waiting to see this, so I'm glad we're getting to see it early. They don't call him Wellman for nothing. Everybody's calling him basically, Kyle Busch now. I'm excited to see what he can do up front here. I would say out of two, he's going to go try for the lead as long as he can get a good jump here.
All right, here we go, guys. Geico restart zone is imminent, and that 20 machine's looking for him, and he's on the throttle. Galusha does get a really good jump there on the 42. The 42 will drop down right in front of Bobby Smith Jr. We'll see where that transpires there with them running 1-2. Bobby Smith holding on there with the third position right now. Nick Davis taking a look on the outside of the 98, able to clear him. That 36 was really fast in qualifying and chose to take to the back of the field, and here he is all the way back up into the third position. Going to be a big push for the 42. 42's getting a big push by the 36. 36 being Nate Davis. Davis actually was inside the top 5 in point standings early in the season before he took a break from this series. As you see, the 42 does clear Nick Galusha, and so give an extra bonus point for the 42 machine.
One thing I'm noticing out of this front group of cars, about the front 6 or 7, if you look at the way they're taking this corner, they're hanging around that seam. And I'm not seeing a lot of guys go down to that bottom until further back, as we have a caution coming out.
Caution flag flies out in the speedway, and we'll take a look and see what it is. Does look like Timothy Lewis is involved in the wreck, and we'll bring that one up for you. And here is what it looks like. Going to try to go 3 wide. That does not work well here. Tried to do it right there with Bobby Smith, and around goes the 41. So got our third caution flag pretty quick after we started caution free for the first 12 laps. We were already at 3, and boy, we're closing in on that line of 6.5 on the cautions. Nate Davis looks really strong out there, running in that second position. I think he might be a tough guy to beat tonight.
Yeah, I'm currently looking back at this caution-causing incident here, and if you are able to pull it back up, watch the 91 car entering into 3. He decides to dive down to the bottom because he's on the back of, it looks like, Alex Trzynski there. So he goes down to the bottom and just isn't able to hold it enough, and slides up just ever so much, and that's what causes that contact there with the 41, sending him into the 98.
Yeah, so we got there bringing it up there, and you can see the 91. You can see Bobby Smith there. You have the 41 coming down to the inside. There goes the 91 dropping down underneath Alex Trzynski, and here's where it all stacks up as it goes slow-mo for you. You can see it there. 91 just starts to push up, and yeah, it's just nothing that could really be done there. With the 91 pushing up there, and the 41 already had that momentum, and they go into the wall. So unfortunate there for Timmy Lewis, involved in another wreck. Any taker's going to go down pit road. Does not look like it so far. As we'll try to get some comms inside that 42 truck and see his mindset in this one. Got a copy in that 42 truck.
Yeah, I got you.
Hey, out there, got yourself a lap led and looking good up front. What's going to take to win this thing? You need a win on this season.
Just being patient, keeping tires as least amount of worn as possible, and tonight's goal is just making up points from last week and hoping we can stay in the top 3 in points. Gonna miss next week, so championship's kind of out of the question, but we're going for top 3 at least.
42 going to try to go for a top 3 and salvage some points in the series. Alright, so we are double file restart here. 42, the 36, the 20, and the 23. You look at those right now, the back 2, the row 2, I guess I should say, Nick Galusha and Alex Trzynski do have wins on the season. Not quite to the halfway mark in this one. 23 laps down of the 70-lap race. 3 caution flags already flown in this one. 42 looking for the green flag here. We got the green flag waving in the air for the 42. Green flag.
Great jump there by the 20 as well on that inside row. Already cleared to 36.
Yep, 36 on the outside. He's going to have some momentum coming down this back stretch here. He's going to be able to do anything on the 20. No, Ryan Palmer actually has a pretty good run there below Alex Trzynski here in entering 3. Davis looks like he's going to try to clear the 20 here, going down into turn 1, working that outside lane really well. He's pretty fast up in there. Clear the 20 and now have his sights set on your race leader of Kyle Wellman.
Yeah, it looks like we're seeing a lot more rubber come in towards that higher side of that seam. And it's going to start allowing these drivers to move up the track just a little bit, to carry a little bit more speed through these corners. Been watching the 22 start making his way back up. He's in front of Ernie Williams right now. He's actually on the outside battling him, so looks like he may have burned a little too much there.
And right behind Ernie Williams, you got a battle for that 9th position with Trevor Catalano and Brandon Boyles. Both of those have had some incidents this race and trying to battle back in this one. Race side by side. They actually touched there coming out of 4. Some scrapes on the 55 machine. There on the leaderboard, you can see your biggest gainers in this race. Kyle Wellman being the biggest at 18, but Alex Kuzinski right there in the 3rd position. He's up 17 spots in this race. Big push for the 36 coming into that turn. That opened up the door for Alex Kuzinski to the inside. Will Alex be able to make the pass here coming into 3? Talked earlier that Derek Rothling looked pretty quick in this race. He is back into the 11th position right now, trying to make his way back up front in this one. Here we go, Nate Davis looking to the inside. He makes his nose there underneath the 42. Trying to steal this lead away on lap 29.
It looks like the 42 just gave it to him so he could tuck up a little bit behind there. He's getting a good run coming out of the corner here. Maybe a little contact there with the wall, but
big drive
42
down the
comes
front
back.
stretch, yes, and that will be led by Kyle Wellman, so Nate Davis did not lead that lap. It is actually scoring Nate Davis, I think, with that lap. So it was Nate Davis by a nose there, as they are still side by side coming down the backstretch. Now Nick Galusha is going to get involved in this.
I think if I'm in the shoes right now of Nick Galusha, I'm going to bide my time and just sit behind these two for a while and just wait for that mistake. I don't think there's any reason to start pushing tires this early in this race.
You're right about it. The question is, how long until we see another caution in this series? We have not seen very long green flag runs. So will we see a caution fly within the next 5-6 laps? Be able to cool those tires down or even come in for fresh tires? That is the question. 20 going to look back underneath the 36. 36 may have had a puff of smoke come off that wall there, using every bit of the racetrack. Galusha able to get around Nate Davis, so now you got Kyle Wellman and Nick Galusha sitting 1-2.
Davis just had a large run coming out of turn 2 there. Actually pushed Galusha going into turn 3 there, give him a little bit of extra speed down that back straightaway so they don't lose touch here. As we got one car around back there coming across the line.
Caution flag waves out on the speedway. Who do you got on caution? Because it is not showing me who has thrown the caution here on this one.
I am seeing Timmy Lewis getting turned by the 10 car, actually, of Ryan Palmer coming into the quad oval.
Let me bring that back up because, hey, Ryan Palmer is a teammate of his. So, yeah. We'll see what happens here. Look at him. Timmy Lewis. The inside. Yep. Just a little bit. And wow, what a save by Derek Rothling on that. Derek Roffley with incredible driving in there to save that car.
Yeah, they were 3 wide coming out of turn 4 there. And I think Timmy Lewis had a checkup there. He had, I want to say it was the 93 in front of him, a little bit slow there on the bottom, tried to get out of his way. Don't think he realized he was 3 wide with his teammate in the 88 there on the high side.
All right, so we're under a fourth caution flag of the evening, and we got cars down pit road. What we got, Byron?
It looks like we got everybody coming down right now. I'm not seeing any cars staying out. I'm going to assume it's going to be another 4-tire, full fuel kind of stop here just to get off these worn tires. I mean, we were on those tires for a good amount of time there, as we do have one car out on track still, and that's Bobby Smith. He's going to go ahead and take that free wave around, get one of his 2 laps down that he's down back.
So yes, cars are in, and we got Kyle Wellman coming down here. Does look like he's going to be Nick Galusha is going to win the race off of pit road there at the line. You've seen it there. So Nick Galusha will take over the race lead. Good pit stop by Nick Galusha. Car retains the lead, comes out in the lead. 42 was coming down pit road, thought he was going to win off, but hey, that 20 car, he had a great pit stop.
Looking back at these pit phases coming in, and it looks like the 42 was just too far ahead in his pit stall, had to back it up just a little bit, and it cost him the battle off of pit road.
That's unfortunate for the 42. So will he be able to get that back here? He'll be starting on the outside of the 20 machine, as we are at the halfway point in this race here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. And next week we will be heading to, it's not North Wilkesboro. That was originally where we was going to head on this schedule. North Wilkesboro was the place. That has changed now. That is Iowa. So we'll be heading off to Iowa on Wednesday, January 24th. And then we'll conclude our season on Wednesday, January the 31st at Nashville.
Big shout out to the schedule guys there, realizing that North Wilkesboro was just not going to work and taking us over to Iowa. And I think Iowa will provide some great racing action. In Miller Time Motorsports history, we have ran there before with the, I want to say it was the SK mods, and it was some great racing there. So I'm hoping these guys can replicate it next week.
Absolutely. It should be an interesting one for sure. It was a good change on the schedule. That track really plays well, as you can really race 3 lines of racing there on the bottom, in the middle, and around the top of the wall. So, yeah, I think it will be a fun one, and I'm interested to see what Trevor Catalano is able to do there. As I think that's one of these tracks that he may play really well at. And he's sitting in second in points, so who knows what happens here. I mean, Nick's leading this race right now, but hey, we're halfway through this thing. Anything can happen. Anything can happen in this.
Right now, one guy that I'm going to be watching on this restart is actually going to be that 24 of Patrick Day. He has slowly started working his way through this field, and I'm excited to see this restart just for the fact to see what he will do going into these corners, being on that outside lane. I think he started most of these restarts on the inside. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out with him being close to that top 10. I think he's sitting in 12th right now.
Yeah, starting in that 12th position here on the outside row, buying his time right now. He's up 5 spots from the start of this race. So is it go time for him? That's the question. That is the question. Steve Miller, where's he been at? The 02. He's in the back there, and he's one of those guys that we was looking at. Will he have the safest race in this one? We have not mentioned his name in any incidents right now, so Still halfway through this race, so anything can happen, anything can change. As we go back up front to your race leaders, the 20 and the 42 side by side once again. Looking for the green flag there in the Geico restart zone, and green flag is in the air. 20 will get another good restart. 42 gets a decent restart. Was able to clear the 32 on the bottom. 14 follows in behind. That's Johnny Evans. Battle for the race lead. 42 looking to the inside of the 20. He wants to lead back. I believe he wants to try to lead the most laps here. He's going to clear the 20. 20's going to have a little bit of run down here. He'll be able to get to his outside. He will get to the outside of the 42. Another good run by the 20. He's going to cross him back up here in the backstretch into turns number 3. These guys race each other really hard, week in, week out. It's a lot of fun watching these two really battle it out all season. That lap, Galusha led it. 42 going to power on the outside here and have the momentum down the backstretch. Got a big push by the 36 this time.
I think if you're Kyle Wellman in this situation, you got to keep that 36 with you and keep him in between you and the 20. And it looks like he's trying to give a little bit of that draft to him down the front straightaway here.
20 more laps around here at Charlotte, and Kyle Wellman up front leading this, and the 36 has been strong, but has not been able to really capture the lead yet. Now the 36 looks to the inside of the 42. 42 may have a little help by Alex Rosinski right behind him. Well, Alex try to push him and help him. Who will lead this lap? Across the line, Wellman. Wellman will lead another lap. Going ever so much. I mean, one lap could dictate if you are the most laps led and you gain 4 bonus points on the evening. Kyle Wellman definitely needs that.
I'd like to point out that the 20 car has now dropped back to 5th, got past there going into 3 and 4 the last time by Ernie Williams Jr. in the 91. So not sure if he overused his tires there early in that restart and has got to get through a little bit of a graining phase, but keep an eye on that 20 because he's a little bit off the pace right now.
Absolutely. You look at that 94. I mean, he's inside the top 5. Or I'm sorry, the 91. He's inside the top 5. And he won the very first race, the Daytona 125, and has not seen victory lane since. And here he is having a good outing here, running inside the top 5.
Yeah, I'm enjoying watching him run this because, you know, the super speedways are definitely a coin flip of who can win it. You know, whoever draws the shortest stick, your night's over. But he's shown that he can do it not only on the super speedways, but on these shorter tracks too.
A 4-car race right here. You can put a blanket around him. Then Nick Galusha, there's a little bit of gap back to him. Big push by the 91 on Alex Rosinski down the backstretch. Some drafting there. Derek Roffling moved up into the 7th position right now, so he's slowly working his way back up front. Now, I know this would be probably a bad time to run through the field. If there is a lead change, Byron will have our call on this, but at the point right now, Kyle Wellman leads, Nate Davis runs 2nd, Alex Rosinski runs 3rd, Ernie Williams Jr. runs in the 4th position, Nick Galusha in the 5th position, 6th is Derek Roffling, 7th is John Evans, 8th runs Trevor Catalano, 9th runs Paul Fly, 10th runs Yusufer, 11th runs Brandon Boyles, 12th runs Ryan Palmer, 13th is Patrick Day, 14th is Paul Negus. Grant Clark is in the 15th position, 16th is Daniel Quigley, 17th runs Chris Miller, 18th is Timmy Lewis, 19th is Stephen Polacek, 20th is Steve Miller, and Bobby Smith runs in the final position.
Didn't want to interrupt you there. We got a battle for the lead right now going to 3. Davis had the inside line. Wellman able to hold it on the outside and take that lead back.
Good hard racing up front. Wellman does not want to give that lead away, nor do I blame him. I mean, he's one of those drivers that we felt, man, he should have won already in this series. He's a really fast driver. Just when was it going to happen? When was that time going to take place? 36 all over the back bumper of him, though. Question is, who's saving the most tires in this situation?
I would think it'd have to be the 42. I mean, you got to make these other cars around you work to pass you. And if I'm that 42, I'm going to try to keep it as low and as tight as I can on those corners and let these guys take that extra speed and burn those tires up on the high side.
36 now with another run. We may look to the inside here in 3 and 4. Makes a little peak. Not going to happen. Alex Jasinski right there in the 3rd position. Little gap, maybe about a car length and a half, maybe 2 car lengths back to that 2nd position. He's got the 91 of Ernie Williams that's been running right with him. Derek
Take your eyes back. Yep, just a little bit further. Derek Rothling with the pass there.
Yep,
we made it look pretty easy.
Seen it on the board. Derek Rothling on the outside there. He's up into the 5th position. Now Nick Galusha drops another spot into the 6th position. He's got a lot of pressure from Trevor Catalano as well. Trevor Catalano running 2nd in the points, and that's the car that he is trying to beat. Is that 20 car.
And what surprised me about that pass that Rothling made there is he did it on the outside. So I wonder if, the more laps we're getting in, all that dust on that high side is getting pushed all the way up to the wall and it's starting to clean off finally, and guys are actually able to use that high side for a passing opportunity.
I tell you, I wonder if the 91 has used up a lot of his stuff as the 88 really closes in on him. 88's looking to take that 4th position away from Ernie Williams Jr.
I was just looking at that separation there between the top 5. It looks like the 3rd and 4th place trucks here have fallen back into the clutches of the 88. So Ernie Williams Jr. and I'm not sure who's running 3rd right now. This is Szerzynski. So looks like their tires are starting to fall off. So the 42 and 36 are doing a great job up there holding their tires in.
Yeah, and you can see that right there on our last lap. You can see that the Kyle Wellman and Davis, they were running 30.8, and then Derek Rothling and Catalano and also Galusha running 30.8s as well. And then there was on back into the 30.9s and the 31s was Alex Szerzynski and Ernie Williams Jr. So the 88 now goes to the inside, going to try to make a move on the 91, not able to do it. He's going to go back up to the top here, leave the 20 on the bottom side here. 20's going to look underneath, try to make that pass. Now 88 gets into the outside wall on the exit of 4.
Didn't look like it killed his run much there, and he's able to hold that position coming across the line. But that 20 car is not going to give up on the inside, as we got 3 cars down there now, one of which being Johnny Evans, teammate to Nick Galusha.
While all this is going on, Kyle Wellman is extending his lead by about 3/10 over Nate Davis right now. That is the interval there, as it's side-by-side racing here for the 5th position.
I'd like to say these guys are within the fuel window to finish this race now. The question becomes, what point do you take tires? If this track has eaten tires like we have seen, what point do you take them?
Good question. And the question is, do we see a green flag all the way to the end? And will we see a green flag pit stop? Look at the trends don't say that would happen, but you never know. You never know in a race like this. We've only seen 4 cautions on the day. It may happen.
I know you probably get this feeling being a driver yourself and other series, but that feeling of if a caution's coming, do you risk it and try to pit? That way you don't have to stop under yellow. I wonder how many drivers are thinking, man, I got to pit. That way I can avoid this cycle of, having to go through this pit cycle, but to be able to separate myself and not from these leaders. That way, if it does go yellow, I already got my pit stop done.
Absolutely. We've been watching for the last couple laps on Derek Rothling here. He was up into the 5th and 4th position, and he dropped back into the 7th, so he fell a little bit here, maybe using a little bit of tires, but interesting. Nick Galusha that had dropped back, he is making a charge back to the front. This is something that we're not used to and accustomed from Nick Galusha, and something that Patrick Day spoke that this guy, he's normally not a good guy that's good on the long runs, but there we may have seen Nick Galusha maybe saving a little bit of tires. Now he's going to try to start to reel some things back in.
I'm watching the timing screen right now on my end, and it looks like Wellman has increased that lead again by another 10th. So he is just flying out there and saying goodbye to Nate Davis and Szerzynski right now as he's continuing to put a gap on them.
Yeah, big gap from Wellman and Szerzynski. 9/10 of a second, almost a full second gap in between first and second. So good race for Kyle Wellman, one that he really needed. And I imagine he's one of them right now that does not want to see a yellow flag at this moment in time.
I think there's a lot of things going through the head of the 42 right now, and one of them is just focusing right in front of him, doing his job as he needs to, as he comes around again, and this gap is going to keep growing, but just slightly. So it looks like the 23
last lap times at a 31.460, Szerzynski at a 31.489. So yes, the Wellman team is still the fastest out there on the speedway. We'll continue to keep that last lap time up there on the board there for you guys to look at. Patrick Day is now up into the 8th position. He's up 9 spots in this race, so he's cracked the top 10 now. He's got his eyes set on Derek Roffling in turn number 1. We've got 10 more laps around here, Byron. What are we going to see here?
I think we're going to possibly see some guys down pit road. Johnny Evans and Steven Polachek are actually in for a pit stop, green flag pit stops.
Green flag pit stops underway. We don't see that happen very often here in the Tarmac Esports Truck Series, but it's happening now, and this very much could dictate the race. The last time we seen a green flag pit stop, that was in week 2 at New Hampshire, and it cost Trevor Catalano the race in that one. He was the fastest out there and ended up not winning the race because of green flag pit stops. Who will lock down?
Just had to bring up New Hampshire. Oh, man. That was a rough race for myself as well.
A lot of roughness for a lot of drivers out there in week 2.
We got that 69 car into his pit stall as well. He pit from the back end of the field. Looks like he'll lose a lap as well. Now have 4 cars a lap down.
Last lap by Alex Szerzynski at a 31.802 versus Kyle Wellman at a 31.590. Quite a bit difference there. Your interval is 1.3.
And I think we're past that point of being able to take that green flag pit stop. I think you got to rely on the tires. I think we're too late in this race to even try to mount a comeback. We're talking about lap times in qualifying that were around the low 30 seconds. You're only looking about 1.5 seconds faster than your leader, and you got to pull that out even more to get back that lap if you're going to pit.
Yeah, absolutely. I would agree with you there. The 42 is looking really, really good here in this one. Kyle Wellman out front leading this by quite a bit margin. I mean, this is probably one of the biggest margins in this series right now. Alex Szerzynski right there in the 2nd. Nate Davis runs in 3rd. 4th runs Nick Galusha. Trevor Catalano runs in the 5th position. 6th runs Paul Fly. 7th coming back around on the outside of the 88 is Patrick Day. This is exactly what Patrick Day really likes, is these long runs. This is where he excels. So keep an eye on that 24. Where will he end here in this race? We still have 5 more laps around here at Charlotte. Derek Roffling runs in the 8th position. Go ahead, Byron.
We just had the 91 pit as well, so I'm still saying it's too little, too late. Probably burning his tires up, just trying to bring it home.
Grant Clark runs in the 9th position. 10th is Daniel Quigley. 11th is Paul Negus. 12th is Ryan Palmer. 13th is Jucifer, and 14th is Steve Miller. Timothy Lewis runs into 15th. 16th is John Evans. 17th is Bobby Smith. 18th is Ernie Williams. Jr., and Stephen Polacek runs in the 19th. Chris Miller runs in the 20th position. 21st runs Brandon Boyles off of the track. Caution flag wave out on the speedway. We have a caution flag.
I see one stopped on the front straightaway. It looks like Trevor Catalano.
I do see that. I see Trevor Catalano went off of track is what I'm getting, so we will have to take a look and see. Try to get you a better view of that there. There we go. Already spinning with Alex Rzazinski. We'll rewind that back just a little bit just to see what happens with Trevor Catalano here. 23 and a 55. Wow. And, whew. Did you see that? Did you see that car that split the middle of that? Was that Patrick Day?
That was Patrick Day. And if you watch it in full speed, you can actually hear Catalano's engine blowing.
All right, we got to take it back. We got to look at see, what that looked like. Woo! Can we get an in-car cam on that baby?
Oh my! I just saw the cockpit cam of that one, and it is scary. It looks like we have multiple cars down pit lane while we're under this caution. I did see some stay out.
Good shot, and woo! Just missed it. Some cars in on pit road.
Patrick Day won the race off pit road.
Yeah, does he take 2 tires here? What's going on here?
I would assume he had to have taken 2 tires. And it looks like it may have been that, as Wellman reached his pit stall first. I'm watching the 24 come in. They raise that right side up. They drop him, and he's gone. 2 tires for the 24. 4, it looked like, for the 42.
All right, looks like Patrick Day, you get the lead off of pit road here. What's it going to take to get yourself in victory lane? You've been so close in these series.
It's going to take not getting run over. So we'll see. I took 2 tires there. I had 93, 95 left on my left side, so we'll see if the gamble pays off.
Well, sometimes it's luck's got to be in your back pocket, and it seems like luck has been in your back pocket, especially after that last caution. Good luck to you.
Appreciate it.
Okay. Patrick Day, Kyle Wellman, Grant Clark, Nate Davis, Ryan Palmer, your top 5. Grant Clark was your winner last week. Grant Clark able to get it in victory lane last week and trying to go back-to-back here for the only Canadian in this series.
Getting word also from race control. This is a green-white checkered finish going into overtime here. So, going to be all cards on the table now for all these guys.
Green-white checkered. Keep an eye on the 42 of Kyle Wellman. He's been strong, and I imagine he's probably led the most laps in this race, so picking up those extra bonus points. Now he's just looking for that win. But so too is the 24 that has not had a win on the series. Hold on, Byron. I hope you've tightened that seatbelt up a little bit, because these are exciting here when it's a green-white checker.
I don't know if you're seeing the same thing I'm seeing, but look who is lining up first and third on this restart.
Absolutely. That's going to be teammates.
That is teammates.
And that worked out well last week with Patrick Day pushing Grant Clark for the win. So I imagine they're going to be timing up this restart together to try to get that push.
I would expect to see this 06 push this 24 down the back straightaway, especially with him being on 2 tires. I am not counting out the 42. I think he'll be able to run the high side a lot better, and you'd be able to burn up those tires. We're talking about 2 laps here, all or nothing. Got to give it your all.
All right, if you're over on the YouTube channel, thank you for tuning in and watching this race with us tonight. Who is your pick to win this one? Out of the top 5 there, or even the top 6, is one of those drivers going to be able to take the win? Will we see a new winner in this series? The front row there has not seen the win yet this season. We could see a new winner tonight.
Big point to look at here, that 20 car outside row 3 does have a teammate on the inside and 1 row behind him.
All right, we're set to go green flag here out of turn number 4. The 24 and the 42 side by side. The 06 and the 36. 36 has been strong in this race and has been strong when he has fresh tires. So I imagine this is going to get wild. Hold on to your belts. Looking for the green flag. The green flag is waving out in the speedway. 24 gets a good jump. The 06 goes right with him. 42, not too bad of a start as well for him. What will Patrick Day do when the run comes behind him?
10 car is looking a little bit loose there on that bottom side. Was able to gather himself up there as it looks like Paul Fly gets a run on the outside.
Grant Clark trying to work the bottom side. Here comes Kyle Wellman to the outside. Wellman's going to have a big run, gets into the wall. Around goes Grant Clark. White flag is in the air. Will the caution fly?
No caution. We are going to take this white flag and run with it. These guys involved in this accident.
Here we
Gotta
go.
get around.
Here we go. The 42 has the lead away from the 24 of Patrick Day. Will Patrick Day be able to do anything? Here comes Paul Fly. Paul Fly in the mix. Here comes Patrick Day to the inside. He's going to try to give everything he has here in 3 and 4. Down into the tri-oval. It's going to be Kyle Wellman's going to get his first win on the series. Patrick Day comes home in second once again. Paul Fly gets in that 3rd position. Hey, Nick Galusha coming in the 4th position, your points leader in this. He holds on to it coming out of this one. Ryan Palmer comes home in the 5th position. Ernie Williams Jr. in the 6th position. 7th was Timmy Lewis. 8th was Johnny Evans. 9th was Daniel Quigley. 10th was Bobby Smith. We'll have a full rundown of your race results when we come back from a quick commercial break.
What does it mean to be official? To earn the badge as a trusted source, a symbol of quality and pride. For 95 years, Craftsman Tools has been the backbone for those who build, for those who innovate, for those who pursue goals greater than themselves. To be the official tool of NASCAR is to represent the best of what's possible. For the teams, for the sport, for the future.
Oh, that's a problem.
Put on the brake, wheels to the left. Go, 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 go.
Oh, no.
Be aggressive, everything.
Checkered flag is in the air, and he has done it.
And that future? Well, it's back to where we started. The NASCAR Truck Series. The NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series returns in 2023. We build pride. One turn, one lap, one race at a time.
Rookie or veteran, no matter how long you've been coming to this event, there are butterflies. There have to be.
The biggest race of your career, one of the biggest races in the world. I guarantee you there's a lot of butterflies.
Well, white flag in the Daytona 500. It's time to get busy. Horrific crash on the final lap of the Daytona 500.
Second time, the Daytona 500 goes to Jimmy Johnson. God almighty, you didn't win the 500. Kurt Busch wins the Daytona. Are you kidding me? Are you there? Denny Hamlin wins his second Daytona 500 and wins it with Coach Gibbs. Proud of you, my friend.
All right, we have our winner in this one, and that goes to Kyle Wellman. That move right there, coming off of that wall, he had a great run there, and you see Grant Clark goes around there on the front stretch, but that move right there is what won that 42 across the line in the green-white checker finish. All right, finishing in the third position today, and that was Paul Fly. Paul, you come home in third. I had a good outing for you. Didn't see you running up front all that much, but when it mattered most, you was there. What was it like?
Yeah, well, started out the race, and then we just started out in a couple wrecks, unfortunately, well, self-inflicted wounds, trying to avoid some stuff. So that kind of put us behind the 8 ball. We had damage throughout the entire race, and then once I found myself in like the top 7, top 5 towards that last one, I said, I'm going to take my patch repair now, get the truck back to right, and, well, we ended up third and, you know, kind of snuck out with the top 5, so it's not a bad day.
You've been around all season long, sitting really good in the points. We've got 2 races to go. What's your goal going into the next 2 races of this season?
Honestly, kind of keep her in the top 3. Nick, with tonight's run, I mean, he really has to have a, you know, Philadelphia Eagles type of collapse here to not win this championship. But just keep her in the top 3 and honestly kind of just help Nick out and make sure he secures this thing.
Congratulations again on the 3rd place finish to you.
Thanks.
All right, in the 2nd position and coming home second for another time in this series, not able to get the win, Patrick Day in the 24. Patrick, you look good on that restart. Thought you may have had it there. Wellman just had a really good run off of 4 and got you there. Take us through that restart and what was it like?
Yeah, I mean, I took advantage of taking care of my stuff there. I mean, you know, at the end, before that caution, me and Grant, we were pulling, all except for maybe Wellman, we were pulling everybody else in. I had saved my tires really well. I had 93, 95 on my lefts on the pits. I was like, you know what? I came in at 7th. I'm going to gamble and just take 2 tires, the green-white checker, and see what happens. Yeah, he just had more tire than me coming off of 4 there and got the run. You know, and I'm not going to block him. You know, 2nd place is good for me. Like I said, what I need to do is have top 5 finishes from here on out. Unfortunately, 4 of the top 5 leaders right now, you know, are right around me here, so I didn't gain a lot of points on them. But yeah, what a heck of a run. Just like last week, hanging out back, saving my tires, waiting for the right time to make a move, and it worked out.
42 seemed pretty strong out there all evening long, led probably the most laps in this and gained some extra bonus points that he really needed. Was there anybody out there that was comparable in his speed?
You know, early on, I think Derek Rolfing was. But honestly, I think as you know, overall average speed across the entire run, taking care of his tires and staying consistent on the lap times, I don't think there was anybody that was as good as Wellman. I probably could have been a little bit, but I was taking more care of my tires there. I was hoping that we were going to go green flag run the long way, which we did towards the end there, and that really helped me.
Well, again, congratulations on the 2nd place finish. That momentum continues to spill over week after week. We got 2 more races to go in this series. Good luck to you.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much. And as always, appreciate the broadcast, Ryan.
Thank you. All right, your race winner of tonight goes to Kyle Wellman. He finally gets himself in victory lane, rips off the bandage, and says, come after me now. I've got a win in my back pocket. Kyle Wellman, you get the win. What's it feel like?
Hey, it's about time, right? I knew it was going to come down to one of these tracks that you had to save tires. I know I'm really good at saving tires, and It feels real good. Came in here with like a minute left in practice, didn't run any practice, no qualifying laps, started second to last, and just made my way through the field. I thought about sitting in the back, kind of like Patrick and Paul were doing most of the race, but I don't know. I kept getting good runs to the middle of the pack, and I was like, finally, just like, let's just do it. Let's go lead some laps. Got up there real quick, battled with Nick and Nathan for a bit, and then we got that long green flag towards the end, and Nathan and Alex just burnt their stuff up trying to get around me. I was able to stay in front of them and save at the same time, and I thought I had it in the bag. Then caution came out with, 4 to go, and I was like, oh no, this is not good. It's like Chase Elliott All-Star race all over again.
Yeah.
And just luckily, Patrick and Grant took 2, and I'm thankful they did. Like, it took me out of the lead, put me in second, but they were able to slow up some of them guys on 4 tires behind me so I could make a good move around Patrick and take the lead and just kind of pull away and get the win.
Yeah, so whenever that happened there on pit road, we seen Patrick Day come out with the lead. We wondered, what was your mindset there, thinking, oh shoot, these guys, they took 2 and I took 4. Is that the right move for you? Ultimately, whenever you was in that position, did you believe that was the right move to take 4?
Oh yeah, and as soon as Patrick was a few stalls ahead of me, and as soon as I seen him leave 5 seconds before me, I was like, oh no, Patrick, that's bad move. I honestly thought he was going to fall a lot further than he did, so he did really good staying up here in the top 3 on a green-white checkered, so I guess it really wasn't the worst call. I mean, he made up a lot of track position and still got a second place tonight.
Yep, got him what he needed. So you finally get in victory lane. We want to talk about that for just a few more minutes, is because we thought that we had seen you here a lot earlier. You're a very aggressive driver. You're a fast driver out there, and a lot of people call you the Kyle Busch of the series. And you know, everybody knows Kyle Busch, but Kyle Busch is good for NASCAR, and you're good for this series. It's been fun watching you, but did you really think that it was going to take this long? And was there any doubt in your mind that you may not capture a win in this series?
First and foremost, the thing about Kyle Busch is I absolutely hate Kyle Busch. Just about 90% of the population does. But I'll be the first to admit he's the best dang wheel man out in NASCAR right now. So I'll take that compliment. And, you know, I thought the win would come sooner, but just the tracks we've been going to with this truck package that we have, where it's just full throttle all the way around, it's hard to really be the leader. I know I can get up there and lead laps, it's just hard to maintain the lead because the draft is so big. But I did have this track circled because I know it's rough, it's bumpy, it's not banked very much like Atlanta is, and it's just a tire killer. And I know I'm good at saving tires, and I know there's a couple others that are really good at saving tires, and I knew if I could keep them behind me that we were going to be golden.
Well, congratulations again on the win. I really do appreciate it because I picked you. I picked up some extra bonus points in the peaks that I really needed, so I was excited to see that 42 cross at victory lane. Once again, congratulations.
I better get a double thing. So you can ask Byron. Up until about a minute left in practice, I wasn't even going to race.
We was wondering. We didn't see your name in there and wondered if you was going to be there. Yeah. And it panned out and worked for you. Congratulations again on the victory.
Thank you.
All right. That was a fun one. That was an exciting one, as we have another new winner in this series. And that brings us to what? 9 different winners over 10 different races in this series. Absolutely incredible. Thank you for tuning in on the Tarmac Esports over on YouTube. Greatly appreciate it. If you have not hit the subscribe button, the follow button, all the good stuff, make sure that you do. We greatly appreciate that. And if you haven't already, we didn't have the opportunity to show you, but go ahead and donate to us. We greatly appreciate any kind of donations. We do this entirely free for all of these drivers, and you can be a part of donating and be a proud supporter of Tarmac Esports by going to PayPal and doing that email address right there. Thank you all for tuning in to the Tarmac Esports. I guess it's not the studios anymore. We're actually out here on the track, but this is the Tarmac Esports production. Thank you. We'll see you next week. It is a Tarmac Esports production and also proud sponsors with Bell IT Solutions. And also Miller Time Motorsports. It's the leading iRacing series out there for any kind of league. Check them out. Miller Time Motorsports.